Well, we definitely had us a game tonight, didn't we? Um, Congratulations to Mount Notre Dame for their victory over Loveland earlier tonight. That was a thriller, for that was one of those games where I don't think anybody knew exactly what to expect. I think there was a lot of questions going into that match. Um, Mainly, let's be honest here. People are wondering how is Mount Notre Dame going to do without Peyton Coles. Now, I did say that you know it's a confidence thing, right? I think that this team needed to know that they can still win without Peyton, and I think that is very important. Now, there's no question. This is our best scorer. In my opinion, she's the best player in the state. So it was a question, how is this team going to do without this girl, without this dynamic scorer, without this girl helping to push the pace offensively? How is this team going to operate without her? Now, without her, there's an obvious. I mean, they're missing her presence. Obviously, when she's in the game, it is a different game. She does make the team better, but this team is still a great team when she's not on the field. And I think that winning against Loveland, that was a much needed lesson in that, and it was an awesome victory. Now, I did say going into this match that if you girls played against Loveland the same way you did against Ursula, then there was not going to be any way you were going to win this match. Now, when this match started, you girls came out, with fire lit under you, and it looked great. Like you were bringing tons and tons of pressure on their midfielders, on their defenders, and even when they did win a possession and they were attacking, you can see where they were wanting to build up. See, this Loveland team, one of the key things to their offense is that flood the field style of attack. That seems to be, now that I really think about it, that seems to be a thing with a lot of these Cincinnati area teams. I know that Milford has done it all year. Mount Notre Dame has done it. I know they did it last year a lot. And then Loveland, and you have a lot of teams from that Cincinnati area that use that style. But Loveland didn't really get to utilize that in the first half. And it was kind of like how they were against Centerville, where Centerville kept 2 or 3 players high at all times, and just trusted the defenders and trusted their midfielders to make key stops. And having those players playing high like that, it prevents them from overloading on your side of the field. So I thought that the pressure that Mount Notre Dame brought kept them from doing that. And I think in that first half, they only had 1 corner kick. So that's good. You limited the corner kicks, and they didn't have a whole lot of throw-ins from down deep into your territory. And that was good. Now, you also were doing a pretty decent job of possessing the ball in that first half. It was decent. You were getting some quality shots. I did say in my pregame speech, or whatever you want to call it, a few days before. I don't know how long I made that post before the actual game. It might have been the day before. I don't know. But I did say that those 25-yarder shots were going to be there for you, and you should look to go to those. And during that first half, and a lot of times even in the second, that shot was definitely there for you. It's unlucky that none of the shots went in. They were just a little too high, but that shot was there for you, and I was happy to see you taking that shot. A lot of times, especially in high school, players fall in love with the box and getting those perfectly squared up shots. But against a lot of these teams, especially these teams with solid back lines, that shot isn't always going to be there for you. And the other great thing about taking those 25-yarders is it keeps the keeper on their heels. They don't know. Like, for example, if you're always taking shots inside the box, the keeper kind of knows to be ready for that. But, if you mix it up a little bit and start taking shots from all these different angles, it keeps the keeper on her heels, and she's a little bit more worried. And eventually, one of those shots will end up going in, right? So I thought that first half, you girls were extremely productive, and it looked really, really good. First half ended in a 0-0 tie. Then in the second half, Loveland, I did tell one of the girls' dads, I think I was talking to RJ's people when I said that Loveland is kind of more of a second half team, and they're going to start turning it up, and that's exactly what happened. They started turning it up in the second half, and you girls kind of withdrew and started playing very conservative, and it was allowing Loveland to build so much momentum, and they were playing a possession game. It's like the roles switched. In that second half, you girls really weren't possessing the ball the way that you should have been, and the way that you did in that first. There was no real possession. You kind of went back to that ping pong ball style of play where you're just kind of lobbing the ball around and hoping someone gets a good breakthrough run, or hoping you get a good through ball. But that wasn't happening, and I didn't see that happening. It wasn't going to happen. So then Loveland is starting to look more and more like Loveland soccer. You girls couldn't keep the ball from going out of bounds deep in your territory, and they allowed that one player, I don't know her name or her number, I don't remember, but the one she's basically their throw-in specialist from in deep. And I said in my pregame speech to treat every last one of those like it's going to be a corner kick, because that's what they do. Like, they practice this over and over and over and over and over, and they spend more time than any team that I've ever witnessed practicing these corners and these throw-ins and these free kicks, and finishing through contact. I mentioned how they use hit pads like in football, and they run through the hit pads, and they hit each other fairly hard with those hit pads. So this is the best team, honestly, this Loveland team, at finishing through contact. And anytime that you get those throw-ins or those corner kicks or those free kicks from in deep, you can't help but hold your breath, because that's how they scored. That's how they defeated Centerville. That was the story of that game, honestly. That's where each and every last one of their goals came from, all three of them. But for the most part, I thought that your defenders held up really well. Okay, and your goalkeeper, man, she's awesome. She's been playing really, really well. So yeah, in the second half, Loveland was able to strike first and score. And I'm not gonna lie, clock was winding down. Everybody's kind of tense now, like, oh man, what's about to happen? And then you girls finally equalized it. And I remember the crowd just erupting, and it got real quiet with those Loveland spectators. And they had their guys over there from the guys soccer team that you can they were real quiet too. And then here we go into overtime, and that right there, that sudden death, man, it just makes things so crazy. Like, I don't think anybody in that stadium, was too confident anymore. It's like, man, this can really happen for either team right now. And whew, the way that this game ended, though, man, was fantastic. I wish I would have been recording that last goal because it was fantastic and it was perfect. It was perfect. Like, Allison Charleston, man, the way that I think, is that who did that? The way that she finished that was perfect because from our angle, I'm standing over there with RJ's people and some others. From our angle, okay, we see the goalie come out. We see the defender. And we see the open box. There's an open goal. Now, I'm just, hoping, almost praying, pleading that, and I'm actually yelling it, by the way, that she doesn't just like blast the ball and send it flying too wide or too high. And no, she just kind of taps it, and it goes in perfectly. And it was just the perfect way to end this game. Perfect way to end this game. And I just love the fact that she was patient enough to do that way. And not just that, but this time, keep the ball away from the keeper. That was perfect. The way that she ended this game was perfect. And I remember the ball going in, crossing the goal line, and that MND crowd just erupted. And I mean, you should have seen the reaction for those of you who weren't there. The reaction from some of these spectators for MND, man. I mean, you had people in tears, literal tears, and, me being from Beaver Creek, as a Beaver Creek supporter, I always kind of wondered, is it a little weird that I kind of support Mount Notre Dame? I guess not. So, I mean, you are in a different conference, right? So I don't feel so bad, I don't want to, seem like a traitor or nothing, But I put it like this. I'll support MND, but except for when you're playing against Beaver Creek. See, when you played against Centerville, I was neutral. But I'm a Creek guy, so, you play against Beaver Creek, then I want Creek to win. But I really like you MND players, man. Like, there's a lot of characters on this team, man. You girls are funny to watch. So, here we go. Moving on to Seton, man. I don't know. Now, the fact that they beat Milford, because look, I was there at their regular season match against Milford. And Milford they won, but they didn't play that game perfectly. Like, I felt like Seton didn't have the offense to beat Milford. And that's how it looked in that first match. That's why I said this season is so weird. Like, it's really hard to predict, So I didn't see Seton beating Milford like in the tournament. I didn't see that coming at all. Like, I want to see a game tape or something like that. That was a big shocker and a huge upset for what was considered to be the best team in the state. Like, everybody, including me, thought that Milford would be the one to, they were going to go to state, because they have arguably one of the best players in the state, in my personal opinion. Anna Manning's the second best player in the state, only after Peyton Coles. But I don't know. I don't know what happened out there. I would really like to see a game tape. So, you girls are playing Seton on Saturday. I'm definitely going to be there. And that's at Lakota East. And that's at 1 o'clock. I think right after that, I should be able to go see a guys game. So I'll have 2 games. So I would give you some advice against this Seton team, but now I don't know, man. Like, that's tough. That's some tough stuff. But look, you girls proved tonight that you can win. You're still a good team. You're still a solid team. Even without your star player, you're a great team. And I'm glad that you got this victory tonight, because it doesn't just teach you that you can win these games this season, but without Peyton next year, you girls are still going to be a solid team. And I think that was, you know, I hate the fact that she got injured, obviously, but I still think it's a great thing for you girls to know, especially you younger ones, to know that you can win without her. I think that's a great thing. So here we go. Now we got to see who's going to step up against Seton. Good luck on Saturday.